Right. So I'm assuming the reason why you're taking on this course is because you are having difficulties getting a job, especially here in the UK. So I'll be going through some things on why people get rejected, common mistakes that people do. So I'll be talking about here's the agenda, talking about UK job facts, common mistakes that people do in the CVs or into interviews, real rejection data, and action improvement. So what we can do or what we should do to improve ourselves. And a famous quote by Winston Churchill: success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I love this quote because it tells you the real situation, the reality, that in order for you to succeed in anything, you have to fail. And you need to be able to do it happily. All right, with because it uses the word enthusiasm. So you need to be able to continue without getting upset and affect you natively and mentally. And here's a reality check on when it comes to getting a job in the UK, and probably most of the world, but this course is specifically for UK. UK rejection reality. Most UK job applications never reach the actual decision maker. Okay, so the person who decides on who should get this job, then never or most of the time then they don't receive the CV anyway. About half only pass the first screening, which includes automated checks and quick CV scans, combined with 86% of applicants never hearing back. So 86% of people who apply for a job, they don't even hear back for anything. They don't get any feedback back from the decision maker or the company that they're applying for. That's a huge number. Most applications are rejected or ignored before a human reviews them. So imagine nowadays, because of AI and technology advancements, when a company receives CVs, the first stage is not the human going through the CV. It'd be a software called ATS, which I'll be speaking or talking about later in this video. But it's basically like a scanner, a software scanner that goes through your CV, checks what your CV, and then based on that, they decide whether you should continue with the application or not. So most applications are rejected or ignored before a human reviews them. Just imagine that for a second. Ignored at scale. Feeling ignored is impersonal. All right, so when you apply for a job, but you don't receive any feedback or anything, nothing, don't take it personal. Because they go through hundreds of applications, sometimes even thousands. And so hundreds of or thousands of applicants compete for one role. Right? They don't have time to reply back all the time. It'd be nice to do so. You feel like you're being, appreciated or like a human. When they don't respond, I know it can be upset, but don't take it personal. Recognizing this helps you focus on strategies to actually increase your visibility and avoid wasting effort on generic application. So if you take it negatively, if you get ignored and you get upset, it's gonna slow it down your momentum. It's gonna affect your momentum. You might end up applying for less jobs. You're not gonna go give as much effort anymore. So you need to be able to focus this strategically. Okay, so you don't take it personally, just don't take it personally. And experience barrier. When it comes to experience, one of the things people hate, and I've been through this before as well, is that getting a job without experience. Right? You might have qualifications, you might have a degree and everything. You just don't have the experience. And the annoying thing is, in order to get experience, you need to get a job. But how are you supposed to get experience if you can't really get a job in the first place? A lot of people say, well, you can work for free. Like the internship, for example. That's true. But many people they can't afford that. Like, for example, me, I got bills to pay. I can't be working for free for, full time for 1 or 2 years and then get a job. Maybe get a job. It's not worth it sometimes. It just depends on the situation as well. If you have no responsibility, you have no bills to pay, you haven't got a family to provide for and any of that, then I would definitely say go for it.
And even when you are working there, you can always leave.
If you do find something else, and why you're actually doing the free experience, or why you're getting the free experience. So up to 64% of first-time applicants are rejected for lacking clear relevant experience in the UK. Again, that's more than 50% people being rejected because of experience. And another annoying thing is a lot of the times when even a company, they post a job saying that, we are looking for an entry-level person, someone that doesn't even have experience, but yet they choose the one that has experience.
Like, why are you doing that? Me, I've been a recruiter
For 5 years now. I've never done that, but I have dealt with people that do say so. I've dealt with companies saying that they want me to post a job, right? And it's for non-experience. Okay, you don't need experience to get the job. However, they still choose the one that does get experience, which is unfair. And sometimes they even say to the applicants that got rejected, to the candidates that got rejected, that we chose someone that has more relevant experience. Again, it is ridiculous sometimes, but that's the reality, unfortunately, in the recruitment world. Showing tangible skills through internships, volunteering, or projects can prevent your CV from being filtered out immediately. Like I said earlier, it is worth it, definitely worth it if you can do internships, volunteering. But again, it's not something everyone can do. People have bills to pay, their family to provide for. It's hard to do, 2 jobs at the same time. I mean, we're talking 80 hours a week. I mean, yeah, but it is worth it though, if you can do it. That would definitely help you in the long run as well. CV mistakes. Another common mistake people do when applying is that their CVs, they will be generic and sloppy. A poorly structured or vague CV is often discarded. Recruiters reviewing hundreds of applications need clarity. Generic phrases like hardworking fail to prove your abilities. Tailored, role-specific CVs perform far better. I cannot stress this enough. And I've seen this over and over and over. Whenever I receive CVs from candidates, their CVs would be so generic, or not even relevant to the role. In your personal summary, which I will be talking about later in this course, that is the first thing the recruiters, check and read. So that needs to be tailored to the job, right? The personal summary should be something about yourself, your strengths, and the second half of that should be about what you want to achieve. So what type of role you want, for example. And I've seen candidates who are sending CVs where, for example, the role would be an accountant, for example. But in the personal summary, it talks about their experience in security. Like, what makes them think that they're going to hire them if they have that in their CV? So it'd be either irrelevant or just generic. Even if you had the qualification or experience, they're just not going to choose you if your CV is too generic. You need specifics tailored role-specific CVs. And I'll show you all this in the latest module on how you do that.
Mistakes stand out as well.
It's something that brings red flags to the ATS. That's it, and also humans can spot it. It shows, laziness as well. You could be really good at English, but if you have, grammar errors or spelling mistakes, it just shows that you're lazy. You're not, careful in your job. 100%. So why would they hire you if you have mistakes? People don't want mistakes. Mistakes cost money for businesses, and they care about that a lot. So grammar errors, inconsistent formatting, or missing details are red flags. So with formatting, it'd be like an essay at the beginning and then bullet points and essays, and you need to have a clear, consistent formatting, and which I will show you how you do that in the later course. Even small errors can overshadow your skills, causing early rejection before experience is considered. Yeah, like I said earlier, these small errors, they outweigh your expertise sometimes. So it's very important that you're careful with that. Keyword blind spots. ATS software filters CVs for relevant keywords. You need to have the right keywords.
So for example, if you're applying to become a bookkeeper.
So in the UK, for example, a bookkeeper needs to have certain skills. A good one would have level 3 AAT. And they would also have skills like Xero and QuickBooks. So those words need to be in the CV. Those are keywords now for that job. It needs to be in the CV. And these ATS softwares, they can filter that. So if they don't find these keywords, you're not going to get to the next step, which is when the human reviews it. So the keywords are very important. Missing the right terms can lead to automatic rejection. Straight away, just rejected, even if you have the right expertise and skills. Embedding keywords from job descriptions naturally ensures your application reaches a human reviewer. Yes, just like I said, in order to get to the next step from ATS human reviewer, having relevant keywords is one of the most important things to have in your CV. That's one of the main things that the ATS software scans for. So if they're not there, you're not going to reach the human reviewer. You're not going to get to the next step. And also length. Right, UK cover letters, that should say CV. Actually, I'll just change it now. It is still relevant though to cover letters as well. But this is about CVs now. Is that the length of the CVs? I've received many international CVs, and they are different to UK CVs most of the time. UK CVs needs to be maximum 3 pages for most jobs, for 99% of the jobs that exist here in the UK. If they're longer than that, they're just not going to read it. They don't have time. Now imagine that a company receives 1,000 CVs, which happens. I'm not exaggerating. Some roles, they get 1,000 CVs.
And let's say ATS scans for these, and they get about maybe
200 or 300 CVs, right? Like, would you think if each CV had 10 pages, they would take 10 pages long? Do you think they would actually read through them all? No, they don't have time. They have a deadline. The main decision maker, they would tell the hiring manager that I need someone before this date. Okay, they say, okay, let's do this. Let's start the search. So time is very important. Time essence. They don't have time. So they need someone before 2 weeks, for example, They're not going to read through all that.
So maximum 3 pages is why I say 2 is the best.
But sometimes 3 is still okay. So they need to be short, focused, and easy to scan.
Clarity always beats volume. And also too many applications. Some people think, it is a numbers game, but it's not that much of a numbers game. It's better to be, to have quality before quantity. Quality applications beat quantity applications all the time. So quantity is not equal to quality. Sending many generic applications rarely helps. Fewer highly tailored applications that show value dramatically increases your chance of getting noticed. Some roles, they may require different skills, even if it's the same role. Like I've seen this before, for example, as a software engineer, for example. Some software engineer roles, they require to have Python skills, SQL, front end, back end skills, and something else like .NET, for example, or JSON. So if you have one CV that only focuses on, for example, Python skills, even if it's still the same role, software engineering, it's not going to work if you send that same CV to all of those different, roles, or same role but different skills. They need to be tailored for that specific job. So you're going to get ignored and ghosted. Up to 9 in 10 applicants feel ignored. Tracking your applications and adapting your approach is better than blindly submitting more applications. That is a huge number. 9 out of 10 applicants feel ignored or gets ignored.
You need to be able to track your application and adapt your approach as well. So when you send an application and you get ignored, you could follow up sometimes. Sometimes you can't, but a lot of times you can. And then changing your approach as well. If you're getting rejected all over, again and again and again, clearly there's something wrong. Okay? You should not be rejected all the time. Sorry. AI doesn't fix it. You cannot just generate a CV using AI. Why? Sure, AI can help, but doing it like 100% from A to Z, it's not going to work because AI doesn't know you. Okay, you know you. AI doesn't know exactly what skills you have. So they're not going to be able to generate one perfectly for you. Automation works best when combined with personalization for each role. Okay, so you can use AI, like I said, but it needs to be very personalized. You need to be able to know how to do it. You need to be able to use very good prompts. For example, if you use ChatGPT, for example, that prompt is very important. I once made a CV for myself just to check. My prompt was about 300 words long. Okay, I know it sounds like I wrote a CV. Oh.
And then gap in experience. Experience matters.
We all know this, and it's probably it is the number one reason why I could be rejected. Employers often reject first-time applicants
due to lack of proven ability. Showing relevant experience, even small projects or volunteering,
helps you get past initial screening. But I want to specifically talk about experience gap. If you have a gap in your CV, for example, you worked from 2017 to 2020, and then you stop for 2 years, nothing,
say, and then you start working again. Don't leave gaps.
Okay, put what you did in those years. Even if you didn't work those years, put something. Put, for example, it could be anything. Just have something there, like break and why you took a break, not just break and that's it. I'll show you later how to do that. Or maybe you had maternity leave. That's a very common one.
Like put stuff in there. And then anyway, in the interview, you can explain that more, because they do sometimes ask about that. Entry-level extremes. Many entry roles require practical experience. Again, I mean, that sounds contradicting, but it is true. It is a reality, unfortunately. Entry-level extremes, like entry-level roles, you should not be able to. You should be able to get that job without experience, but it happens anyway. Proactively gaining or showcasing this experience can prevent early rejection. So if you don't have experience, you need to be able to show that you can do it anyway, somehow. Maybe you have portfolio, for example. That's a good one. So you can showcase what you can do, have proof, have links, have something, proof that you can do the job, even if you don't have experience. Mismatch cost. CV skills must align with the job description. Okay. They need to match. Okay. Look through the CV and the job description. What are the requirements? What do they want from you? Does your CV match that? Or is it a bit different? If it doesn't match, update your CV or adjust it so it does. Now, if you can't do that because you don't have that skills, then that's not for you, that job. But if you do, and you can somehow fit it in, then do it. It has to match it. Because just think about it. They're looking for a specific type of person, and need to show that you are that person. So you need to adjust your CV to that. Explicitly showing you meet requirements increases chances of passing ATS and recruiter review. That's it. If your CV matches the job description, you're going to get at least an interview. That's a guarantee almost. Because you're showing them exactly what they want. Mindset trap. Internal blame. Rejection is rarely personal. Okay, it's never pretty much. Because they don't know you anyway. Like, why would it be personal if they don't even know you? It's mostly about competition and filtering systems. Like I said, the competition is really high, depending on the market as well. Some markets, even good markets, with high paying salaries and respected roles, then it's not that much competition. But some are very competitive, especially in IT, for example. IT is highly competitive. And then, so you need to understand that, the competition and the filtering systems. So you need to stand out. Understanding this helps maintain focus and motivation. So don't take it personally when you get rejected. Just continue. Right? Just continue. And I will also, there's a whole video about how to handle rejections, which is very big. It'll be in a later module, which I will teach you how to deal with rejections. Learn from feedback. Most employers don't give feedback. Right? I'm sure you know this already. But again, you need to be able to track those anyway. Right? Track your own outcomes is crucial. Analyze patterns to improve CVs, cover letters, applications. So whenever you do get feedback though, use that. Use the feedback to improve. Is there a pattern? Did they say, is this skill or that? And change it. Add it to your CV or learn it. Add it to your skills. Pattern focus. Treat your job search like a science. Track which strategies lead to interviews and refine your approach for consistent improvement. Again, with the pattern. If you get into an interview stages, but you don't get a job. For example, you've had 20 or 30 interviews, but you never got a job. That's when they tend to give you feedback, when they reach the interview stages.
when it comes to just CVs, rarely do they say so. They just say that we move to the next stage. Sorry. But interview stage, they usually just tell you what it is. So then you can refine your approach and improve on that. So you need to track them, write them down. Don't just say, okay, this employer said because I don't have this skill, for example, and then that, and then you forget about it. And then 2 months later, you completely forgotten why they reject you. So write them down, track them, and then focus on them and train them and learn them. Now with the CVs, audit your CV, review formatting, grammar, and keywords. Ensure it's tailored to the role. Highlight relevant achievements rather than generic info. So if I go, I'm just going to quickly create a CV. Then create me a generic CV. Right. Okay. Right, it doesn't actually fill anything, just only seeing in the experiencer's handles, skills to your liking. Say. So this is something I want you to do with me now. Okay, so ChatGPT is very good at doing the structure of the CV. This is how it should be like. All right, your name. This should be in, big titles, big fonts. And I tend to not give the full address, just a postcode, phone number, email, and LinkedIn. That's good. Personal summary. That's how it should be. That's it. 4 lines. Something about you, like this. And then here, what you are seeking for. Here it says it, seeking to contribute to a dynamic team in a growing organization. That's good. Obviously, the grammar's going to be good because it's ChatGPT, but I want you to do this with me. Let's just say this is your CV. So just open up your CV, go through it, check if the grammar is good. Okay. Check if the formatting is good. Do you have it like this? So professional summary, the skills, the work experience. This is perfect order, and then education. And then you'd have additional information like your languages, interests, things like that. Right, and then you also, of course, ensure it's tailored to the job, which I will show you how to do later. Right. Targeted applications, apply selectively to roles matching your skills. Right? You need to be able to match the skills that's on there. Tailor them. Tailor is so important. Tailor the materials. And it's not just tailoring CVs. It's also the cover letter. It's also the emails that you send. The messages you send to people. They all need to be tailored. It needs to seem like you're sending a message to the actual person, to the actual company. Right? Skill gap plan. Identify frequently requested skills and find ways to acquire or demonstrate them through courses, volunteering, or personal training. So if I quickly go to, for example, Indeed, right? But also Indeed, UK. Let's say I go accountant. Or something more specific. Right. And let's say software engineer. Let's say like Birmingham, why not? Right. And let's say just give one generic one. Right. Use drops the off. Right, these are specific ones, yeah. Okay, let's say a software engineer or developer. So what you do is, if you want to become a software developer, right, and it needs to be tailored for also in the location, even city-wise. Okay. So for example, you can read this, but for now, just focus on the skills that they require. So this is essential skills. So this is something you have to have. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the job. Okay. First of all, something about you, right? This is something that be in your personal summary. Okay, so here's something about you. So they're looking for a problem solver, logical thinkers, not just coders. You can use that. Okay, use that in your CV and put that in your personal summary. Say that you're a problem solver and a logical thinker, but you can't just say that you are that. You also need to be able to prove it in your CV. And I'll tell you that later. There's a whole section in this course about that. But then also the skills. They need JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Again, these are keywords, right? Likewise with the problem solvers and logical thinkers, these are keywords now. So these definitely need to be in your CV. They need 1 to 3 years of experience. If you have that, put that in. Right? It needs to be in there. Desirable skills. See, they even put down desirable skills. These would be skills, if you did have these, you'd be above the rest. Okay, because it doesn't say you have to have these skills, but it'd be desirable, which means you'd be above the rest, because not all will have that. So just one example quickly. I'll show you later more detail how to do that. So just to summarize what we went through. We went through the UK job rejection reality and how hard it is, how competitive it is, the facts, and how many people get rejected. Major CV pitfalls, or people, common mistakes from CVs. Experience often lacking. If you don't have the experience, unfortunately, it is difficult. But it is what it is, I guess. And then action steps to improve. This is just what I told you just now. So that's the first chapter. If you did enjoy it, next ones will be a lot more practical. This will just like an introduction, but the next courses or modules will be much more practical and beneficial, and you need to actually take action, and hopefully you'll really be enjoying it. If you do, you can also book a free 1-to-1 UK job strategy call with me. Here's the link, so you can just copy that, paste it anywhere, and just book a free call, completely for free, where I just tell you how I can help you find a job in the UK. Strategically, I'll give you very in-depth strategy on how to land a job. We can, there'll be a discussion about that. And I'll see you later.